with a reading from the Quran, and then there will be a few speeches from me, from a young scholar, Ustad Akil, and from Dr. Mo Sattar. And then we'll invite Ismail Hussein, a leading nasheed artist, to perform for us and lead us into prayer. Dates and water are provided on the table for people to break their fast. And we've set aside rooms in the academic unit, which is at the back and on the right, as prayer rooms. And we've got separate prayer rooms for men and for women. And then after prayers, we'll eat together with food prepared by Myla Hall. And we've been providing care to people with a terminal illness and supporting their families and their friends and carers through such an important time in their lives. We provide really personalised care, so looking at what the individual wants and thinking about the whole person, so holistic care. And for us, providing palliative and end-of-life care for people is a privilege, and we are so often told that St Gemma's provides the glue that holds everything together in a really complex world for people at the end of life. So those people who do know something about St Gemma's often feel that, or believe that we're a building in Moortown, and of course we are that, and we have got space for up to 22 patients in our wards. But on any one day, we're also providing care for, at the moment, it's about 340 patients who are in the community. So those patients might be in their own homes and in care homes, and the care that we provide works alongside people's families to provide that support together.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim, Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim, غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. Sorry for my voice. Obviously, I haven't drunk today fasting, so anyway.
I'm going to give a short reminder, and this is an article that I've written for the company that I come work with. So I'm a working professional by day, and then by evening I put on my other cape and my hat, and we're trying to just make a difference in the Muslim community, trying to bring Muslims who maybe aren't practicing back to the faith, and those people who are already practicing, trying to give them that bit of encouragement to remind them of who they are and where they've come from and where they're going. Many Muslims, they abstain from food, from drink and from marital relations during the daylight hours in the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, which is well known as Ramadan, so it falls towards the back end of the year in the Islamic calendar. When the sun goes down, as we're going to see probably in around half an hour or so, all restrictions come to an end. So you can have your caffeine again, you can have your food, your drink, and engage with families as well. Fasting is not just about giving up food and drink. So it's not just about leaving off meal times during the day. That's not the purpose of fasting in the month of Ramadan. But it's about tending to the better angels of our natures. Because the Prophet Muhammad, he said that if one is not willing to give up one's bad behavior during their fast, then God has no need for them to give up their food and their drink. So fasting is really a challenge now for an individual to reflect on their character and the way they're moving in life. How do I interact, with my family? How do I interact with my neighbors? How do I interact with the people in my community, and likewise those people who surround my locality? So it's about really working on one's character, and that's one of the key purposes and the reasons that fasting was legislated for Muslims as well, to really become more conscious of themselves and conscious of God, and then likewise conscious of those people who are around them as well. Even the simplest of things like a microphone will come with a little booklet in there. What is the purpose of these manuals? And who's giving you that manual? It's the manufacturer who's giving you the manual so that you can understand how to use the item and how to ensure that you don't break it. If it does break, how do you fix it? Who to contact, etc., etc. If we can get something like this for as simple as something like a kettle, isn't it? Or a microphone or a mobile phone, then what about the human being? Where's our manual? What happens when we break down? How do we fix ourselves? How do we perform optimally? What are the steps that we need to take? What are the buttons that we need to press in order to function, optimally as human beings? And this is what the Quran ultimately is. It's that final manual for mankind. Manuals have been sent with all prophets and messengers. Again, as Muslims, we affirm Jesus, we affirm Moses, we affirm all the previous prophets that came. But we believe that Muhammad is just one of the people who was in line, who follows in succession with these great prophets to ultimately revive the manual, because human beings, we break down, and we break down often just due to the world that we live in, and we need some sort of manual to guide us and to steer us through such that we can ultimately reach some sort of land at the end of it. We can treach the treacherous seas. So many Muslims, as the night settles, maybe on a normal evening, they're tucking into their beds, but during this month, many Muslims, they'll forsake their comfy mattresses and they will attend the mosques, and they're listening to the scripture being recited. So it's a month when they're being reminded of this guidance which was sent to mankind. They're being reminded themselves first and foremost, and then likewise about how they're journeying. So they're allowing their hearts and their minds to be reconnected with this guidance. Now, what may surprise many people is that most Muslims, they actually enjoy Ramadan so much that they grieve when the month comes to an end. Ultimately, they come to the realization of a few things, and this is what I want to close with. They come to the realization that true happiness, lies in feeding the soul. It doesn't lie in feeding the stomach. That true happiness lies in being satisfied with one's share, with whatever lot I've been apportioned with, whatever that is. They come to the realization that prayer is better than sleep, and they realize that charity is better than consumption.
So distinguished guests, dear colleagues, friends, a very, very warm welcome. And in Urdu, Hawadino, wa Hazarat, Khosh Amdeed, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have a long collection to the specialty of palliative care throughout my career as a GP, and at St. Gemma's until recently I was an active trustee board member. I have seen the outstanding care that is provided to those patients, often at the most tender stage of their lives, and that is in the terminal stages. That's the very end. And this care is provided mostly through charitable giving, as the government currently offers only a third of the money to make this place run, and the rest is through fundraising. I've also seen the visionary leadership that is provided by the Hospice senior team here, who in my view are the most forward-thinking leaders within the health economy when it comes to thinking about what should the hospice or palliative care services look like in an ever-changing Leeds population. They have really asked themselves some difficult questions about becoming a more inclusive service for all faiths, and this event is a testament to that vision. Naval Ravikant said, the best way to grow your network is by doing something great. That's what we're doing. And why did we do this? Well, the census data of 2021 told us that the Leeds population has about 810,000 people in Leeds. 82% of those were born in England, and Pakistan was actually the next most represented, with 10,800 people reporting Pakistan as their country of birth. So that means that 7.8% of Leeds population identified as Muslim, not all Pakistani, but so 7.8% identified as Muslim, And we know that there were over 6,400 deaths in Leeds over 2022-2023. And of those, around 8% die in hospice care. So I have estimated through all those figures, hopefully right, and Kerry checked it for me, that we should be looking after at least 50 patients from the Pakistani community over a year in this hospice. And this is not the case. Currently, we receive about 15 referrals from the Pakistani community specifically. So when I met Dr. Neo and also consultant nurse Catherine Malia, we reflected on this issue of underrepresentation from the Pakistani community when accessing hospice and palliative care services. And this Iftar is one of the ways we felt we could increase awareness about the good work that goes on here. There's an old saying that says there is no such thing as a free lunch. So I put it to you, each and every one of you who is attending today, to use these days to talk to your family, friends and communities so that they become more aware of the good work that goes on here. We deserve a stake in palliative care services and all that it gives, that is specialist palliative care with a whole person holistic approach. As the late founder of the modern hospice movement, Cicely Saunders, said, "You matter because you are you, and you matter to the end of your life. We will do all we can not only to help you die peacefully, but also to live until you die." And that's very important. I was talking to Jabba, I overheard him say, I don't want to come to this place. And that's often what we hear from people. But St. Gemma's is a place of real joy. Because, as we say, we help you to die peacefully, but also to live until you die. And we are looking after many more patients with the advancements of cancer treatments. And we don't just look after cancer patients, although overwhelmingly we do, who are living longer because of those advances. And so we help them to live well whilst they're living with their disease. So, come on, let's find those 50 who could benefit this year. That's my plea to you. Not money, which is a lot of our events, it's to find those 50 people. So when we eat and break our fast, talk to the staff here, talk to me, and find out about what we do, and then go back, tweet, take your pictures, and use word of mouth to propagate what we do. I'm nearly there now. To end, I'd like to read a poem by the late Sufi poet, Daniel Abdul Haymor, from the inevitable Ramadan Sonnets and From a Shore Beyond Water. It's like practicing for death, no food or drink during daylight hours, no matter what. In the heat of the summer or cold of the winter, each year it makes its visit, and year after year it builds up to be a sweet thing. Ramadan Mubarak, beloved ones, may this blessed month revive our hearts, faith, and the brother, sisterhood of humanity. Amen. Thank you so much for coming today.
Assalamu alayka ya Rasul Allah. Assalamu alayka ya Habibi ya Nabi Allah. Assalamu alayka ya Rasul Allah. Assalamu alayka ya Habibi ya Nabi Allah, ya Rasul Allah. My heart is so full of longing, I wish to be close to my beloved spirit. I dream to walk in the streets of Medina and to quench the thirst of my spirit by visiting you, O Muhammad. Assalamu alayka ya Rasul Allah. Assalamu alayka ya Habibi ya Nabi Allah, ya Rasul Allah, ya Nabi. Salam alayka ya Rasul. Salam alayka ya Habib. Salam alayka. Salawatullah alayka. No matter how much the devil tries, our love for you will never die. More enlightened than the sunrise, you are our key to paradise. एक झलक जो देख पाऊं, जान मैं तुम पे लुटाऊं, राह में आंखें बिछाऊं, दस्त बस्ता फिर सुनाऊं. When I close my eyes eternally, may your vision be my company. Even though I'm far from worthy, I am proud to be your ummati. Ya Habibi, Ya Muhammad, Ya Nabi. Salam alayka ya Rasul. Salam alayka ya Habib. Salam alayka. Salawatullah alayka ya Nabi. Salam alayka ya Rasul. Salam alayka ya Habib. Salam alayka. Salawatullah alayka. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد